So our next presenter is going to be actually focused on the Academy, where the Army Cyber Institute is part of the Academy. We're focused outward. We're serving the Army. We're serving the nation. An indirect outcome is we also serve the Academy. But somebody else has that primary mission of serving the Academy, and that's Colonel Barry Shoop. He's a professor at the United States Military Academy of PUSMA. He is probably many of your instructors. He's been here for 20 years, and he is the head of the department. For the IEEE card-carrying members, he's also the president-elect, correct? So without further ado, to save the time, you say you probably know him already, Colonel Barry Shoop.
Thanks, Carlos. So I have the distinct opportunity today to talk to you a little bit about cyber education here at West Point. So the slides are quite small, as you can probably see. So if you would like a copy of the slides, I'd be happy to share them with you. They probably may be made available through the ACI afterwards, but we can certainly do that. So I've got an outline here that the intent is I want to spend just a very few minutes talking about the Department of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science holistically, just to kind of give you an overview of who we are. I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about our philosophical approach to cyber education here, because it does differ amongst the academies. So I want to kind of set the stage for what we're doing, and I want to go through a couple of the items that we employ in order to get to this idea of cyber education at West Point. So I'll begin the mission statement. We are the technology department for West Point. We are electrical engineering and computer science. You can see the mission statement here, but it is all about preparing future leaders in a technology-oriented fashion. Mission and vision statement, you can look at these a little bit later in the intent of time. Scope of operations, we are about the second largest department at West Point. We're a very complex department. I have about 79 staff and faculty at West Point. And we have 4 teaching missions. The first teaching mission goes to the core program. We have a core IT program. My department teaches 2 core courses in information technology, one at the freshman year, one at the junior year. I have 3 ABET accredited majors, electrical engineering, computer science, and information technology. So that is the span of our educational impact, if you will. We have 3 research centers, 2 research centers. We spawned the ACI. We were effectively the incubator for the ACI. It came out of EECS. But we have affiliated, you heard about the Cyber Research Center. Cyber Research Center is wholly owned subsidiary of EECS. I'll talk a little bit about that in a couple minutes. And we have one other research center, which is the Photonics Research Center, dealing with lasers, optics, high-speed communication kinds of things. Being an electrical engineering and computer science department, we are very heavily vested in technology, and so we have a network enterprise structure that we have to run. We have lots of 3D printer and fabrication capability for all of our capstone projects. We have in excess of about $10 million of equipment in terms of our lab facilities, both computer facilities as well as our hardware that supports the electrical engineering program. This slide would be bigger if we had a bigger screen, but what it basically shows is it basically shows EECS education within the curriculum. And the top part of the slide talks about the core program. So as you heard, we have 2 core courses. We have other things in the curriculum that we support. So we have IT 105, which is a freshman level information technology course. We have IT 305, which is a junior level information technology course. We also have kind of a strange thing here at the Academy. If you are not an engineering major of some type, you are required to take a 3-course engineering sequence. And we teach 2 of those 3-course engineering sequences. So we get a lot of history majors, English majors, philosophy majors that are taking our 3-course engineering sequence. We have an electrical engineering 3-course engineering sequence focused predominantly on robotics, and we have a cyber engineering 3-course engineering sequence that we just converted about a year ago. And so that impacts across the core program as well. We also have a minor, cyber minor that we stood up about 2 years ago that others outside of the technical disciplines can in fact take. And I'll talk a little bit about that later. And then we've got these majors, 3 ABET accredited majors that are integrated in terms of the cyber activities of what we're doing. So the philosophical approach for cyber education here at West Point is, as you heard this morning, instead of focusing exclusively on cyber courses or cyber majors or that deep discipline, it's more about integrating across the fabric of our educational system. And so we have taken an approach that is, in higher education right now, it's being called kind of a T-shaped approach. And so you have breadth at the top of the T. You want to get as much breadth as you possibly can, and then you have depth within the T. And so in the engineering community, you really want T-shaped kind of engineers because you want that breadth across the top. You want your engineers to be able to communicate, written and orally. You want them to be able to work in interdisciplinary teams, but you also want them to have deep technical expertise in their specific area. This is the approach that we've taken in terms of cyber education here at West Point. So what we have is the core program. So we have IT 105, IT 305, where we have cyber threaded throughout the entire curriculum, freshman year and then junior year. We also have, thanks to the ACI, you heard Greg talk about the number of ACI fellows that are influencing almost every department at West Point. All of those ACI fellows are in fact teaching courses that are cyber related in philosophy, in social science, in law, in those other things. So we're getting that kind of integration across the entire curriculum, and it's a touch point from day one. It's a 47-month experience here, so we have touch points all along the way that integrate that throughout the fabric. And then we have the deep technical areas, electrical engineering, computer science, and IT, that have threads within them or focus areas. And then, as Greg mentioned, we do things outside of the classroom. And those things outside of the classroom add to the value and the depth of experience that the cadets get in terms of their cyber education. And so that's the philosophical approach that we have to doing this. We have a cyber minor, as I said. It's a 5-course minor. If you are a technical individual taking EE, CS, or IT, or if you have taken the cyber 3-course engineering sequence, then you get to choose, I'll send you the slides. You can choose 5 courses. Some of those courses are depth, and some of those courses are breadth. And those breadth courses are outside of the department, going with the theme that you heard this morning in terms of integrating. It's not just about technology. I love technology, but the human dimension that goes along with this is incredibly important. So that's the minor. We also have the 3-course engineering sequence that's focused on cyber, and again, you can see that. We also have, as Greg was mentioning, we do this outside of classroom kind of activity to build upon the fundamentals that the cadets get in class, either in their major or across this very broad curriculum. We have competitive and department clubs. We have a competitive cyber club that was stood up a little over a year now. For those of you that have been at the academy or at the academies before, you know that a competitive club is a big deal because it gets cadets out of drill to do other kinds of things. And in this case, it's working towards capture the flag, preparing for the cyber defense exercise, and those kinds of things. Okay, so this was a big deal for us as we moved forward, and this gives the cadets additional skills and additional capabilities. We also have a hacking club as part of the ACM, the Association of Computing Machinery, that has a very large enrollment. Surprisingly, cadets love to hack. We give them an environment, we give them a forum to be able to do that, and that spans from freshmen all the way through seniors. So we have a lot of cadets there. We have some other clubs in the department that also support that. We have the Cyber Research Center. You heard a little bit about that. Greg Conti was the former director. Mike Lanham in the back is the current director of the Cyber Research Center. Cyber Research Center, wholly owned subsidiary of EECS, and they are focused on doing basic research and engaging with cadets, capstone projects, outreach, those kinds of things. So that's what they do for us. You also saw some of these slides in terms of margin of excellence. We do an awful lot in terms of internships. We call them AIADs here. They're roughly 3 to 4 weeks during the summer. Cadets get an exceptional experience. So again, building on this education that we've built within the curriculum, they get an opportunity to go out to NSA, to U.S. Cyber Command, Army Cyber Command, FBI, and other kind of places and practice that during the summer. Many of the cadets, in fact, end up getting polyed, and they end up with TS/SCI clearances so that they can actually truly decisively engage in what's going on. And we do these competitions. You've probably heard about the Cyber Defend exercise, which gives them an opportunity to practice what they've learned. You saw the slide here. The Cyber Leader Development Program is something that was started within EECS. ACI helps us with this, but it's all about identifying future leaders and capabilities and nurturing them so that when they go into the Army, they are really prepared to pick up the baton. And with that, I think I'm pretty close to being on time. I want to thank the team for the opportunity to talk a little bit about this. I'll be around all day if you want to discuss some of this in a little bit more detail. Thank you.